What's going on, everybody? It's your guy, Tyzilla83. I want to thank you so much for stopping by and checking out the video. We're talking about demos. You remember those demos? They used to come in the form of a disc. You could find them just about everywhere. It was like they were mass produced, and they had all sorts of different games, different varieties of games, different genres. It was magnificent. That's what we're talking about on this one, on this video. So, before we get into that, if you would at the end, like, comment, share the content that you're watching here, and of course, if you haven't already, feel free to tap that awesome subscribe button down below. I remember when I was a kid, I had a binder full of my PlayStation 1 discs, and I didn't have a whole lot of PS1 games. But the other half of the binder was full of demo discs. And I wouldn't have had those games in the front of the binder that were the full games if it hadn't been for those demo discs. Consumers used to have a certain amount of power with that. I mean, think about that. That's today, $60 is a hell of an investment into something that you've never tried before, that you've never played before. Back then, I forgot what a brand new PS1 game cost. I want to say like 40 or 50 bucks, but whatever. That's still a lot of freaking money, especially for a 13, 14-year-old kid whose single parent works 60 hours a week in a machine shop. That's a hell of a thing to go out and buy a game for your son. That's a hell of an investment. So why not give them access to it before they, try it before you buy it? And I get that there's risk involved there for companies. I understand that side of it. I get that. There's a risk involved, especially today. Games cost a lot of money to make. A lot of money. Way more than they did back then. But to me, it almost seems like, the PlayStation 1 propped itself up on this content that was exclusive, that you could try before you purchase the product. Demo discs were handed out like freaking candy back in the day. You had so much exposure to so much content for free. I would never have gotten into, I used to love Jet Moto. I don't know if you guys remember those or not, but they were like, you should go Google it. It's hard to explain, but they're racing games. You're on like these hovering bikes. So fun. Got into Jet Moto, Gran Turismo. Metal Gear. I don't know that I would ever have played Metal Gear had it not been for that demo. Tomb Raider. The list goes on and on. Crash Bandicoot. It may seem like a joke now to play Crash Bandicoot, but back in the day, that game, it was fun as hell. That was considered a pretty big title back in the day. And the list goes on and on and on for all this free content. Whether the game had already been out, it didn't matter. The fact that you got to play it. Hell, when I got my hands on my first Metal Gear demo disc, of course it came with a bunch of other games on the disc. Metal Gear hadn't been out very long. That title, that Metal Gear on the PS1 hadn't been out very long. In fact, it'd come out earlier that year. Yeah, there's risk involved, sure, but I feel like it paid off for PlayStation. I feel like they went that route and it paid off and it contributed to the PS2's success. Call me crazy, but I don't know why they ever left that route. I don't know why they still don't offer more content for free to try out. I don't understand it. There is stuff there. You go to the PlayStation Store and there's stuff you can play, entire games for free. Smite, Paragon, and some other, indie games. Sure, that's all fun and all good and everything, but I kind of would like to play Horizon Zero Dawn. Comes out the end of this month. I would absolutely love to get my hands on that game before I bought it, before I spent $65 of my hard-earned money to purchase this game. I'd like to play it first. God of War, when it comes out, that's going to be a PlayStation exclusive. So is Horizon Zero Dawn. So is Gran Turismo Sport. Now, you can go Redbox these titles, but son of a bitch, that's $4 a night. Blockbuster was cheaper than that. I think it was like $4 for 3 or 4 nights. Redbox, get your shit together. All I'm saying is I think that it would be good for gamers. It would be good. It would give the consumers power. It would give them some power. In fact, I think that more of these guys would, these developers and these publishers would benefit. And again, I understand the risk involved, but PlayStation, you know what? They gambled and it paid. I'm not saying that PlayStation is what it is today because of all the demos and all that access to free content, but I think it was a pretty large contributor. I really do. That may very well sound, kind of crazy to some of you guys, but if you were old enough to remember, if you were old enough to remember the days of the demo disc and just how it just seemed like they were everywhere, and again, it was like they were handing them out like they were candy, giving you the power, essentially, more power than we have as consumers today. That's a fact, I think you could kind of maybe come to the same conclusion that I've come to, and that's that, demos were just such a large part of the fabric of gaming back then. So you'd have to contribute some of that PlayStation 1 success to the abundance of free content that was made available to consumers. That's it for me. I want you guys to comment down below. I want to know what you're thinking about on this subject, and I'm especially curious if you have, maybe you had a similar experience. Maybe you had never played a game until you played it on a demo disc somewhere. And I'm curious. I want to hear those stories if you have them. If not, if you don't have any stories, I just want to hear your thoughts on this particular video. So thanks a lot for checking out the content. By the way, it was free. Remember to like, comment, share it, and subscribe if you haven't already. Until the next video, you guys try like hell to be kind to one another. All right? Peace.